Do you live in the city? Do you have very limited, if any, access to parking space? Well, if so, Smart has a car for you. The brand new 2016 Smart Fortwo. It's a little bit wider than the old car, but it's just as long, so you can actually park it by backing into the space. And coming up next, I'm going to tell you everything you ever wanted to know about this new car. Well, almost everything.
We normally start by telling what's not different, because there's a few things that we actually quite proud of that we were able to keep the same, and the most important of them is the exterior length, 8.8 feet. That's to the inch identical to the predecessor. The rear engine rear-wheel drive concept, that hasn't changed. The bicolor appearance, which makes every Smart recognizable right away, and the concept of the Tritium safety cell, right? All of that in combination really keeps this Fortwo being the ideal car for the urban jungle. But what has changed? First of all, width, 3.9 inches additional width, and that's something you feel in the interior. There's always been plenty of headroom and leg room, but now you have substantially more room for elbows, for shoulders, so the car feels even more spacious than the predecessor did. Powertrain has changed, so we have a brand new all-aluminum 3-cylinder in this car. Just shy of a liter displacement, turbocharged, 89 horsepower and 100 pound-foot of torque. So that improves acceleration by almost 3 seconds to 10.1 seconds from 0 to 60. And that engine delivers the power via two new transmission choices. That's maybe the one thing that was very special about the previous car, the transmission. Now, customers who got used to it actually liked it, but those customers new to the brand, I think, will appreciate the two new choices we have. It's a 5-speed full manual or a 6-speed dual clutch. We call it twin-dynamic transmission. So those are the biggest changes. What's really cool about this car, with the added width and the engine being in the back, we had more space in the wheel arches, so we could realize a 22.8 feet turning circle. It's
going to be one of the best in the...
It's best in industry, actually.
Yeah. It's crazy. It's just you can turn literally on a dime.
Yep.
That's what it feels like compared to any other car.
It looks great on paper, but when you actually try it yourself, it definitely will put a smile on your face.
I did try it, and the crazy thing was, most cars, if you can turn on a 2-lane road and make that U-turn, you're pretty happy about it.
Yeah.
This, you could turn on a 1-lane road if there was such a thing. You could almost make it in 1 lane. It's crazy. Tell me about the safety. People are always worried about a small car. How is this safe? You said that it has a cell that somehow absorbs energy. How many airbags? What safety things do you have?
It's something we really can't talk about enough, is how safe the Smart Fortwo is. And that's true for the predecessor, but our engineers have done even more to make this car safer. Tritium safety cell, that's how we call what you see in silver here. It works similar to a rollover cage in a race car. It's very stiff. We added some ultra high strength steel to it, so it protects the passengers in case of a crash. We have 8 airbags in this car. That's no other car in the segment has more. But we also have a bunch of active safety features that the predecessor didn't have. Let's start with standard crosswind assist.
From the vans?
From the vans, exactly. The Sprinter has it too. Which is a great feature. We have a rear view camera available now, and we have something we call proximity warning assist, very similar to what you know from the Mercedes side, collision prevention assist. It's a radar-based system that can warn the driver if the risk of a collision is detected. So really safe car. There is a video that we've published a few weeks ago where they crashed a 2,000-pound Smart Fortwo against S-Class. And the passenger cell, the Tritium safety cell that you see here, remained completely intact. So that's pretty impressive.
Now, for people who follow the industry, they'll know that this is based on a Renault Twingo. So how have you differentiated it from that car, besides the fact that the Twingo has 4 seats and this has 2?
There is a cooperation with Renault, that's correct. But apart from the fact that, let's say, at least on the 4-seater side, that's different for the Fortwo, which doesn't really have a Renault counterpart. So that makes the Fortwo very special to begin with. but while 75% of the parts are shared, about 95% of the parts that the customer sees are individual to the Smart, and that's important to us. If we do a cooperation, the result on the Smart side needs to be very typical Smart, no compromise there, and I think we achieved that with the Fortwo.
And what was the design inspiration? You know, you had an older version over here somewhere, I can't see it now, but it's looks much narrower, which it obviously is. It looks more cartoonish, this looks more substantial. What was kind of the idea when you decided to redesign the car?
Yeah, I wish I had Gordon Wagner here now, but no, I think one of the good things, especially this market, is that the car keeps its cuteness. You know, it's still smiling, but it overall just looks a little more grown up, and that is something that you can see in the design. But it's also something you feel behind the steering wheel when you drive it, the way it handles, just more stable now, right? Overall, though, it's still recognizable as a Smart, clearly.
Well, let's just have a quick tour of this interior. So this is much more modern, I guess would be a good word, and much more, well, character. There's a lot of character here, right? There's interesting uses of materials. There's certainly interesting uses of applications,
correct.
Apps.
Yeah, I'll tell you a little more about that.
Yeah.
So overall, interior, what was important to us is, first of all, typical Smart, right? So it's colorful. The dash, the cloth material that you see here looks and feels premium, and also picks up the color that you have on the seats. It's modern, and it's not just, you know, a standard interior. It feels very premium. We have a substantially upgraded level of standard equipment. So let me just point out a few things. We have the multifunction steering wheel with cruise control, the color instrument cluster is standard, a smart radio with Bluetooth technology. The automatic climate control is standard as well, and what you see here, the tach with the clock, that's new standard equipment too. So car feels a lot different in the interior. One thing I want to highlight is the Smart Cross Connect app. You see that little cradle here? You can pair your iOS device or Android device via Bluetooth with the radio, and it gives you access to radio functions, your music library, obviously all phone functions, and a few cool other features. There's a G-force meter on here, so you can see how
tight that turning circle.
How tight that turning circle really is,
so you
exactly.
Can get, 1 G going around the circle.
Yeah, good luck trying that. And we have something we call Smart Spots. What this is an opportunity for smart drivers, as they drive through their city. If they see a parking spot that only fits a Smart Fortwo, they can take a picture of it, they can upload it and make it accessible for other smart drivers. We have about 110 of those in Portland alone right now.
So is that the kind of spot that's basically lateral instead of horizontal, right? So you can back into it.
It could be that, or it could just be a very short parking space that no other car would fit in. This Smart Cross Connect app will be available at the time of launch, and it will be free of charge to download for the customer.
I like this. It's a really cool little feature, right? This little magnifying glass, very much like a Rolex, where you can, on the watch, you can see the date, and here you can see the numbers of the temperature that you're trying to adjust.
It's not just about function. For Smart, form has always played a major role as well.
There are 4 different models of the new 2016 Smart Fortwo. Let me check my notes. Pure, Passion, Prime, and Proxy. You see a theme there? This happens to be the Passion. The Pure starts at about $15,000. And like the outgoing model, there are 10 different body panels that you can change, even though Mercedes says that people don't really change the body panels once they buy their Smart Fortwo. Yeah, and let's go to the back, because you can't see the engine, but we can certainly look at the... I believe you said this is 9.2 cubic feet.
9.2 cubic feet, and you see 2 of your suitcases fit in perfectly.
Yeah, pretty well. And then this folds back, and then I guess what I'd like to show is you've got this divider here, right? That can go down. So let me see if I can push it down. Right, so you can push this down here. There's a little space for it, and then this folds flat.
This folds flat completely. So if you have longer items you want to carry, you can just fold flat the passenger seat, and this will carry through.
And how do you get to the engine?
So obviously the engine is underneath here. We need a screwdriver to get to it. It's a quick It's a quick few minute process.
Oh,
there's about 6 screws you have to untighten, and then you'll see the engine.
I don't think we need a screwdriver, right?
No, that might be.
I think we can get at it.
You can do it. Now.
Yeah,
Let's see.
yeah, we can do it. Let's look at it. Like the two of us can do this in about
Multitasking.
less than a minute.
Teamwork.
Yeah, look at that.
Just make sure we don't
lose these guys.
Exactly.
I want to see what this guy looks like. All right, here we go.
We do have an exhibition tonight as well.
So you'll see it. Watch out, it's caught there. And there it is. Look at that.
There you go.
Yeah.
What a beauty.
0.8.
0.9 liters.
0.9 liters. Just
exactly.
Just under
turbocharged.
1 liter,
yeah. Flat 3 and made of aluminum.
And I was trying to think, how many other rear-wheel drive cars are there in production currently? Porsche 911.
Mm-hmm.
The Twingo,
we like that comparison a lot.
Yeah, the Twingo. And there aren't very many, right? This is a very...
it's a very special layout,
yeah.
providing a lot of advantages, but it's always been particular for Smart as well. So it was important to us to keep that Smart characteristic.
Right, and of course the last question, people who buy this car also expect good fuel economy. Have you announced those numbers yet?
We don't have official numbers yet, but what we forecast is that this car, despite the added power, again going up to 89 horsepower, going up to 100 pound-feet of torque, the much improved performance and the higher level of standard equipment, slightly increased weight because the car grows in width and has all that equipment in it, the fuel economy should be about on the level of the predecessor, if slightly better maybe.
So that was like 33, 39-ish, just around those numbers. 33 in the city, 39 on the highway.
Yeah, probably somewhere in that category would be our forecast.
All right, I got to ask you the softball question I always ask. What's your favorite feature of the new car? What do you like the most?
I love the app. Because obviously we're dealing a lot with Apple CarPlay right now, Android, all of those are great smartphone integrations, but this is something that is free for the customer and it enables full integration of your smartphone functions. So that's something we like to talk about a lot.
Yeah, I mean it's very new, it's very modern, it's very hip, and as long as you've got one of these. There
you go, and who doesn't?
You got navigation.
Exactly, yeah.
Right?
There's a navigation feature included as well. All of that free to use.
Well, thank you very much. Thanks for taking the time. I appreciate it.
Absolutely.
As always, this is Roman reporting for the Fast Lane Car. Check out tflcar.com for more news, views, and real-world reviews from Portland. See you next time. Ciao. My favorite Smart for two of the last generation was the electric Smart because it sorted the two biggest problems that this car had. Number one, it got rid of the transmission, and number two, it got rid of the engine and replaced it by an electric motor. So I was happy to see that they addressed the transmission issue, at least with this car, by giving us in America a 6-speed dual clutch. It's much more responsive. It shifts a lot better than the outgoing model. There's also a 5-speed manual if you like rolling your own gears, but I'm getting to the point now where these dual clutch automatics are actually a better choice, especially for the urban environment, because if you're in stop-and-go traffic, as you are often on these tight streets in the city, and let's face it, rolling your own gears can become not engaging, but annoying.